Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Israel targets Iran's leading nuclear scientist working on the Iranian bomb, also strikes the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Iraq closes its airspace and suspends air traffic at all its airports. Barring one miracle, survivor, 241 passengers and crew killed in the London-bound Air India flight crash in Ahmedabad. Former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani among those killed. Home Minister Amit Shah reviews situation at the crash site and the hospital. DNA sampling process for relatives underway. Announcement on official number of deceased only after DNA testing. Rescue operation over at the crash site. Aviation Department initiates formal investigation. Government constitutes high-level committee to uncover cause and ensure accountability. US investigators ready to help in Air India crash probe. Condolences pour in from across the world. US President Donald Trump expresses grief at the tragedy. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer calls crash devastating. Canadian PM Mark Carney also expresses grief. Judge temporarily bars US President Donald Trump from deploying National Guard troops in Los Angeles. Some 700 US Marines were expected to support up to 4,000 National Guard troops from Friday. And big breaking news coming in. Israel has struck Iran, targeting its nuclear plant and military sites. This is the breaking news. Israel said it was also targeting Iranian commanders and missile factories, its ballistic missile program and its Natanz uranium enrichment facility. Israel declared a state of emergency, with Defense Minister Israel Katz saying that retaliatory action from Tehran was possible following the operation. An Israeli military official said Israel was striking dozens of nuclear and military targets. The official said Iran had enough material to make 15 nuclear bombs within days. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said in a recorded video message that Israel targeted Iranian scientists working on a nuclear bomb in an operation that would continue for days. So Israel has struck Iran, targeting its nuclear plant and also military sites. And video message has also been issued by Benjamin Netanyahu, and Israel said it was also targeting Iranian commanders and missile factories, its ballistic missile program and uranium enrichment facility.
We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program.
All right, DD India's Akshay Dongre has more information on this. He is joining us on the phone line. Akshay, fill us in with more details. What more do you have?
Well, Abhishek, as far as this attack is concerned, it's coming as unexpected lines, because there have been hints that were given by the US that there may be an attack on Iranian nuclear facilities. These kind of things have been coming in. There has been apprehension whether Israel will be taking action against the nuclear facility of the Iranian side. The Iranian regime has been saying that they are using these nuclear facilities for peaceful purposes only, for generation of power. But this was an explanation that was not brought at all by the Israeli government. So this is a preemptive strike, is what we are reporting at this point in time. And also there are reports that several kind of attacking modes were used that include fighter jets entering deep inside Iranian territory and striking the nuclear facilities. There were apprehensions inside Israel that Iran is very near developing a nuclear weapon, and that's why it seems that this preemptive action has been taken. But very important to see that US has steered away from this attack. US has called this a unilateral attack on Iranian facilities, and a unilateral attack that has been taken by Israel and Israel alone. And US had no role to play in it, because they have said that Iran should avoid hitting any of the US assets. So that becomes one of the most important points, that while Israel has struck at Iran, US has already said that they had no role to play in it, and Iran should avoid the US targets that are in the region, and the safety and well-being of those US troops is the priority for the American government and leadership. But it remains to be seen that whether Iran is going to buy into that or not, because Iran has been hyphenating Israel and US for decades as far as tensions are concerned in the region. But it seems that a new conflict between Israel and Iran has now started, especially with there are reports coming in that Iran will be taking retaliatory strikes very soon.
Tell us about the impact also, Akshay, and the consequences it can have, because maybe a step that could further inflame the Middle East and derail or delay efforts by the Trump administration to maybe broker a deal to cut off Iran's path to building a nuclear bomb?
Well, as far as Iran's history is concerned, we have seen that there have been tensions ever since the revolution in Iran took place. The kind of conservative regime that took in, and they had a completely different stance from the earlier monarchy in the country. So as far as the nuclear facilities are concerned, both the US and Israel have showed their own kind of apprehensions about the potential of the nuclear program inside Iran. Israel has always called it an existential threat, stating that if Iran ever develops nuclear weapons, then they will be on the target first, and they may be targeted by Iran using their nuclear weapons. And that is why prevention of any kind of nuclear procurement by Iran was seen as an apprehension by the Israeli government and the people as well. So as Israel is claiming that Iran was very close to developing a nuclear weapon, they had their own apprehensions, and they have struck the targets inside the country, especially given the fact that hostilities have been at an all-time high ever since the Gaza offensive was started by the Israeli regime. So it seems that this has happened in the past. The scientists and nuclear facilities, especially in Iran, have been hit by Israel, reportedly several years back too. So this seems that this is an all-out action that has been taken, which goes on to show that Iran actually was, quite close on developing nuclear weapons that could have, been a threat to Israeli government, and that is why they have taken this preemptive strike.
All right, Akshay, we'll leave it at that for the time being, but yes, we'll keep taking updates from you. Moving on, the Air India plane bound for London's Gatwick Airport crashed moments after taking off in Ahmedabad on Thursday. The 787 Dreamliner aircraft took off at 1:38 p.m. local time and crashed just 5 minutes after takeoff in a residential area. The plane crashed onto a medical college hostel during lunch hour. Air India said 241 people on board the flight died, and the sole survivor, a British national of Indian origin, is in hospital. He was in seat 11A next to an emergency exit. Meanwhile, DNA sampling process for the relatives is being taken up, and the official number of deceased will be declared only after the completion of the DNA testing. And the rescue operation at the crash site in Ahmedabad has been completed. A team of 45 doctors for DNA procedures, 2 SDRF teams, 2 NDRF teams, 85 fire personnel, the full AMC team and over 75 ambulances were deployed for emergency response. Indian President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi lead the nation in expressing grief and shock. The President said, and I quote her, "The loss of lives after the plane crash at Ahmedabad is utterly devastating. My heart goes out to the bereaved families." The country has also lost the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, Vijay Rupani ji, in the tragedy. Rupani ji was always committed to people's welfare. I express my heartfelt condolences to his family and admirers, unquote. The Prime Minister personally spoke to the Minister of Civil Aviation, Ram Mohan Naidu, immediately after the crash. He took stock of the incident and directed the Minister to ensure all necessary support is extended immediately and asked to be kept regularly updated on the situation. He added that all relevant agencies are on high alert and coordinated efforts are underway. And Home Minister Amit Shah held a high-level meeting and obtained detailed information regarding the entire incident. The minister reviewed the rescue and relief operations and directed that the government provide all necessary assistance to the affected families. He stated that the injured should receive immediate medical attention and assured that every stage from DNA sample collection for the deceased and the families to identification and the safe return of mortal remains to their respective homes would be fully supported by the government. Home Minister personally visited the accident site to assess the situation and the hospital to inquire about the condition of the injured. And the government has initiated a formal investigation into the tragic Air India plane crash in Ahmedabad that took place on Thursday. Civil Aviation Minister said, and I quote him here, "Following the tragic incident in Ahmedabad, a formal investigation has been initiated by the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau in line with international protocols set by International Civil Aviation Organization. Additionally, the government is constituting a high-level committee comprising experts from multiple disciplines to examine the matter in detail. The committee will work to strengthen aviation safety and prevent such incidents in future." Meanwhile, a US government agency, NTSB, that investigates civil aviation accidents said it would be leading a team of American investigators to India to assist in the investigation of the tragic Air India crash in Ahmedabad. The National Transportation Safety Board is an independent US government investigative agency responsible for civil transportation accident investigations. NTSB said in a post on X that it will be leading a team of US investigators traveling to India to assist the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. As per international protocols under the International Civil Aviation Organization's Annex 13, all information on the investigation will be provided to the NTSB by the Indian government. Also, the top US aviation body, the Federal Aviation Administration, is in contact with NTSB regarding the Ahmedabad plane crash. And following the tragic crash, Boeing President and CEO Kelly Ortberg issued a heartfelt statement. He expressed condolences to the loved ones of the passengers and crew on board Air India Flight 171. He confirmed speaking with Air India Chairman N. Chandrasekaran, offering Boeing's full support to the investigation and recovery efforts. He also said that a specialized Boeing technical team is on standby, ready to assist the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, which is leading the probe. And condolences are pouring in from across the world. US President Donald Trump has offered to help India following the horrific accident.
The plane crash was terrible. I've already told them anything we can do. It looks like most are gone. They actually maybe have a couple survivors, which is just heard. But that was a horrible crash. Nobody has any idea what it might be. I gave them a couple of pointers. I said, maybe you'll look at this or that. You know, we saw the plane. It looked like it was flying pretty well. It didn't look like there was an explosion. It just looked like the engines maybe lost power. But boy, that is a terrible crash. It's one of the worst in aviation history.
And President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, also tweeted, and I quote her, "Heartbreaking news from India with the tragic plane crash in Ahmedabad. My deepest condolences to the families and loved ones grieving this terrible loss. We share your pain. Dear Narendra Modi, Europe stands in solidarity with you and the people of India in this moment of sorrow." Unquote. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas has also expressed grief. She said that her thoughts are with the families of the passengers and crew and with all those affected by this tragedy. French President Emmanuel Macron has also expressed grief over the tragedy. Posting on X, he said that we have learned with deep emotion of the tragic plane crash in Ahmedabad, India. In this time of sorrow, I extend our heartfelt thoughts to the victims, loved ones and to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The British High Commission in India said that British nationals who require consular assistance or have concerns about friends or family can call on 020-7008-5000. I repeat, 020-7008-5000. It further said on X, and I quote, "We are aware that a flight from Ahmedabad to London has crashed near Ahmedabad airport. We are working with local authorities to urgently establish the facts and provide support. Our thoughts are with all those affected." Unquote. And UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer received updates, expressed deep sorrow, his thoughts with the passengers and the families during this harrowing tragedy. Starmer tweeted, and I quote him, "The scenes emerging of a London-bound plane carrying many British nationals crashing in the Indian city of Ahmedabad are devastating. I'm being kept updated as the situation develops, and my thoughts are with the passengers and the families at this deeply distressing time." Unquote. And Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni mourned the loss of lives lost in the tragic incident. "On behalf of the Italian government and myself, I express my sincere condolences to the families of the victims and our full solidarity with the Indian people in this moment of great sorrow." And Canadian PM Mark Carney also extended condolences. In a post on X, he said, and I quote, "Devastated to learn of the crash of a London-bound Air India plane in Ahmedabad carrying 242 passengers, including one Canadian. My thoughts are with the loved ones of everyone on board. Canada's transportation officials are in close contact with counterparts, and I'm receiving regular updates as the response to this tragedy unfolds." And this is what Mark Carney tweeted. And joining them was Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof, who also extended condolences. In a post on X, he said, "Horrific images from the city of Ahmedabad, India, where a passenger plane heading for London Gatwick Airport has crashed. I have expressed my condolences to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. At this difficult time, my thoughts are with all the victims of this terrible disaster and with their loved ones." Unquote. And Pope Leo XIV also offered condolences and prayers for the victims. He said, "Deeply saddened by the tragedy involving an Air India aircraft near Ahmedabad, His Holiness Pope Leo XIV sends his heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of those who have lost their lives, together with the assurance of prayers for all involved in the recovery efforts. Commending the souls of the deceased to the mercy of the Almighty, His Holiness invokes upon all affected the divine blessings of healing and peace." And Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos expressed grief over the plane crash. On behalf of the Filipino people, I extend our most heartfelt condolences to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Government of India, and especially to the families and loved ones of all those who lost their lives. May the victims be remembered with dignity, and may the ongoing efforts to understand this tragedy bring comfort and clarity to those left behind. Also, Bangladesh Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus offered condolences for the tragic incident and expressed solidarity with India. In a message to PM Modi, Yunus said, and I quote him, "We extend our deepest condolences to all the families who lost their dear ones at this tragic incident. We stand in solidarity with the people and Government of India and offer our full support in any form." Another big news we are tracking in here. A US judge on Thursday temporarily blocked US President Donald Trump from deploying National Guard troops in Los Angeles, ruling the move was unlawful. Judge Charles Breyer ordered the Guard be returned to California Governor Gavin Newsom's control, with the order effective Friday noon. Breyer criticized the argument that peaceful protests could be treated as rebellion. The Trump administration has appealed. Trump had sent troops despite Newsom's objections, marking a rare federal move. Hours earlier, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem vowed to liberate LA just before federal agents removed Senator Alex Padilla from a press briefing. The legal fight highlights tensions over Trump's hardline immigration stance and federal authority. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.